Before we start with this week's episode, we want to tell you about this killer new podcast we've come across. It's called Baby Brain Podcast, hosted by Hannah and Emma. Whether it's your partner, your own mum, or a female family and friends, most shit dads out there are supported by some shit mums.
Now, if they're looking to hear from a couple of everyday mums how they navigate their way through motherhood with 3 young babies and no fucking idea, we'd love you to recommend this Baby Brain podcast to them. As you can tell, they don't mind swearing like us.
Yes, sir.
Much like our own podcast, they're very authentic, they're very funny, they never shy away from those hard conversations. And most recently, they're the winner of the Bullseye Award at the 2022 Australian Podcast Awards for producing an exceptional listening experience for niche audiences and those underrepresented in media. And that's a really big award for small shows making a big difference to their communities.
So tell those special laddies in your life to search Baby Brain Podcasts on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify and follow them at Instagram at babybrain.podcast.
Shit Dad Podcast.
Celebrating the mistakes that all parents make. You're listening to the Shit Dad Podcast. G'day, and thanks for joining us at the Shit Dad Podcast, where we try to change you from lad to quintessential Aussie dad while celebrating the wins and bins that come with fatherhood. I'm Nick.
I'm Cam.
And I'm Dave.
And we thank you once again for taking the time out of your busy days to have a listen and share your fatherhood stories. This episode, we're talking to Keegan, a father of 3 girls, about navigating the life surrounded by 4 women. But first, let's punch a few dad jokes out. A British man is visiting Australia. The customs agent asks him, "Do you have a criminal record?" And the British man replies, "I didn't think you needed one of those to get into Australia anymore."
Oh, that's good. Mine's our Starlight Swim themed. Hey mate, a bloke came knocking on my door the other day asking for donations for the local pool. I gave him a glass of water.
Yeah.
What do you call 2 Mexicans playing basketball?
Now what?
1-on-1.
Oh, yeah, that's good. You got
All right, Keegan.
What do you got?
Went to the butcher on the weekend. Tell you what, venison's dear.
That's actually very good.
Told you we'd get it. All right, I got one more. Go.
Oh.
I can swallow 2 pieces of string, and when they come out the other end, they'll be tied together. I shit you not. As Nick mentioned, we are joined tonight by Keegan Ruge, father of 3 girls, north side of Brisbane local, ex-colleague of mine. How are you, mate?
Mate, living the dream.
LTD, I forgot about that. Tell everyone about the living the dream.
Oh, mate. That's kind of what I got known for at Icon more than anything else. Wasn't actually the work, was just living the dream. It's the constant that and eating bloody grapefruits.
It's actually funny you say that because we had a bloke in the fire brigade who was known as cunt of a day because instead of saying living the dream, he was having a cunt of a day.
A little bit different. No, I'm really excited to have you on the pod tonight, mate. Thanks for coming. I'm about to have baby number 3 any day now, so I really do need your advice and tips, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
You're actually on call, aren't you?
Yes, I'm literally on call right now. Well, I muted the phone, but
We'll see.
I'll see it. Yeah. So, Keegan, can you give us a quick intro? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your family.
Yeah, so dad of 3 young girls. So one's just about to turn 1 tomorrow. Then a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. So very much on my toes and listening to Taylor Swift nonstop.
He's in the trenches hard.
Oh, mate.
Shooting with fairy wands, not guns.
Now, for anyone listening, please don't forget to send us in your messages each week, shitdadpod@gmail.com, at shitdadpod on Instagram, and of course the shitdad booster yarn, the private chat that anyone can join on Facebook. Don't forget to follow and leave 5-star reviews on whatever podcast platform you use. The Dad Shareline 07 30 40 95 45. And of course, if you haven't got anything yet, why don't you get a shirt or a stubby cooler? There's heaps of merch going around. We love rocking them. We're getting a lot of comments on them these days. We wore them to the regatta the other day, the Gats.
The Gats.
We had people apparently going, "Oh, wow, it's the Shit Dad pod guys." So, famous in Brizzy. And finally, this episode, as mentioned, is brought to you by the Baby Brain Podcast.
Yeah.
So if you've got any partners who might need a little bit of help or advice or just want to hear some stories from a couple of mums, get onto that Baby Brain Podcast.
I actually listened to an episode the other day. They're just about as raw as us. So
Yeah.
if you like the Shit Dad podcast, you're definitely going to like the baby brain.
Well, the episode this week that they're putting out is titled Butt Stuff. So I think it's pretty in line with...
We're going to bring out an
Our
episode. Yeah, bring out an episode next week called No Butt Stuff. Hey, I took my daughter to... So I usually help out at the school coffee shop, as you guys know. Keegan, you don't, but yeah, I help out at the school coffee shop and a couple of times a week. But I always say no Mondays because that's the day I've got my daughter. She goes to daycare Tuesday to Friday. And today I was just like, no, you know what? They need the help and I'm gonna go down. We're going to make a bit of extra money for the P&C. It's going to be good. Took my little girl and it was as bad as you'd expect. She, because she's not fully toilet trained yet, there was poop involved, numerous runs to the toilet. I was the barista as well, so I was like making coffees and then running to fix up her and then running back, washing my hands obviously, and then running back and making coffees. And yeah, no, I did. I definitely did.
Mate, she's your third.
Yeah.
How much of a rookie are you still?
Boys are so easy at toilet training. Oh my god. Anyway, when I got down to it, like the boys just like, sit on their iPad and play, and everything's good. Happy days. I took her, and she was like, she took the pens, and yeah, she drew for a little while, and then she thought she'd like to draw something on her legs, so she drew all up and down her legs, and I was like, oh, fuck, whatever. Yep, that's fine. I'm making coffees. It's all good. And then one of the customers came and goes, "Is that your daughter over there putting sunscreen on?" I was like, "Oh, for God's sake!" So she went from nothing to pictures on the legs to looking like an avatar, like the blue people from Avatar. It was mad. Anyway,
I think you'll find there the Navi.
yeah, oh, is it? Okay, yeah, soz. I'm going.
Resident nerd.
Next time she asks me to come to the coffee shop, I'll be saying Navi. So yeah, that's my little dad story of the morning. Now we do something with social shit daddery when we don't have a great guest on, and this week I just wanted to continue that. Even though we have a great guest, I'd love to continue the social shit daddery.
I was wondering where you're going with that.
Yeah. So on the Boosty yarn, actually, on the private chat that Cam mentioned before, we got one of the dads come on and say, I haven't got much, but I've got a dad hack. I haven't done any work in the workshop lately because our youngest. So I bought a small sand pit, you know those little shell sand pit, filled it with sand, and got a digger, ones to sit on and then use their hands to do the digger, and it's a life changer. Finally been able to spend hours in the shed and dust off the old workbench for those projects that never get finished. So any dads who like a bit of time in the shed, get your kids something like that.
Anything to do with sand and construction toys for
Oh, yeah,
boys is
definitely.
obviously a goal.
Yeah. And texters and sunscreen for girls. That works a treat. We also have, starting last week, Dave's Shit Dad Go-To. So if you got anywhere you like to take your girls on a day out just to get away from the missus, give her some rest time.
Yeah, no, ours is a family. We always wind up going out to the park or something like that. Like if things are really, really stressful, it's make coffees, get in the car, girls kind of just chill in the back, they're listening to music, and that's the one time that we get to chat. Might take the long way via the highway out to a park at a ring bar or something like that.
Around the corner park.
Yeah. And then just do that for half an hour, an hour. We can't do too much longer than that because, you can't see my skin, but we don't spend that much time outside. Family of bloody vampires.
You wait.
Whiter than me.
We were talking about this last week. You'll be an athlete.
We're in the flippers right now, and I'm just flaring.
I forgot to tell you to wear sunscreen. Sorry.
You told him not to be drunk. You forgot the sunscreen part.
Give us a spell. The dads have gone to knock the top off a cold one and have a Captain Cook. The ankle biters aren't giving their mum some strife. They'll be back in a sec. Don't blow your top. Right, so we're back with Keegan, and when we haven't had a guest on for a long time actually, but when we do have a guest on, we like to learn a little bit about you, a little bit about how you parent, and a little bit how you look after yourself. So, basically we'll kick off the questions. Me, Cam, and Dave will all ask you a few questions, and we'll just have a chilled kickback convo.
Shoot.
So we'll kick it off with how did your upbringing shape you as a dad?
It was kind of really vanilla and just kind of classic suburban nightmare. Dad worked in the city all the time, pretty much raised by mum working part-time. So I spent a lot of time between my mum and my grandma doing a bit of care, which probably formed how I deal with the girls at home, which is pretty much just, yes, ma'am. Just all around, pretty used to it. I think Cam was one of the first male leaders that I've had for a while, and that's, saying something.
You still said yes, ma'am.
I was going to say words.
Yes, Cam.
No, he was either working or task oriented in the shed on the weekends, and I realised that that's probably how I work a bit, even though I get to work from home, which is a bit of a benefit because it means I get to help out around the house a bit more.
Did he spend a lot of time with you as a kid, like on weekends and stuff?
Yeah, on weekends, like I'd kind of go out if there was tip runs or stuff like that. Like we'd still do stuff together, which was
How good were tip runs?
when you actually got to hop in
the trailer on the way out?
Like, not that ever happened.
No, obviously. Hey, fuck, it was the 90s. Of course it happened. Fucking hell.
That's how I got down there.
Awesome.
Like I'm doing tip runs with the girls these days, and they're like, "Can we hop out?" No, not really. I don't think so.
Can we take my seatbelt off? Get back in your seat.
Like, you're not wearing the high vis. The union's going to see it.
Awesome.
What about your siblings, mate? What was your growing up situation there?
I'm the youngest of three, so that probably, I was kind of the asshole. So I know how to kind of piss people off, and that probably makes me a little bit more protective of girl number two, girl number three. But we're all a bit different.
What's the dynamic? As in, so boys, girl?
Girl? So oldest brother, middle girl, and then myself.
Yeah.
We got something as well. We do like historical shit daddery, but people like message in what their dads did to them as kids. Do you have any funny stories that your dad did, or like dob-in stories? My dad crashed mine and my sister's head together when we blew up one day. That's the sort of ilk we're looking at.
Look, for legal reasons, no. No, nothing comes
Off the record.
No.
Damn it.
So it's like, though, growing up in the 90s was totally different.
Oh,
And
totally.
I said, like, talk about the stories I tell people all the time. I had like a pulled muscle in my stomach. I've had pleurisy. I've had a broken arm that required surgery. And it's just like, nah, you'll be right, mate.
Yeah,
Toughen
walk
up.
off.
It's like about 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Harden up.
Arms yellow. It's like, that's the story. It's like the old.
That was from your brothers, right?
No, that was like, they're all self-inflicted.
See, now as the accident kid, like, not that I wasn't expected or anything, but like, no, I had a stick in my eye, lost all the skin off my tongue, off like a Coles. Yeah, well,
Did you fall out of the trailer on the way to the tip or something?
Did you lick the garbage?
the one time I'm with the dad, I'm fine. But I was just constantly doing stupid shit, and Mum was the one that had to kind of pick up. And I just imagine Dad coming over like, Jesus, what happened?
I reckon there was two noises that you absolutely hated as a kid when you'd done something wrong. The mum voice is like usually way higher than the normal voice. And then Dad pulling into the driveway when she said, I'm going to tell your dad.
Oh, it was worse because we had to pick up Dad from the train station.
Oh,
so
you got the car ride.
you got the whole just kind of sitting in the back like, your father's going to be here and he's had a big day. Just like, oh God, what have I done?
No!
And then he'd be just kind of cross and then too mad to do anything by the time we get home. We just want to have dinner and have showers and everything. Like, oh, we should do this. Like,
Now, mate, tell us about the three different babies that you've had. The pregnancies, did they differ, as you went along? Was it, obviously scarier the first time? Did they get easier? And then also, how did you support your wife through all of those?
yeah, same, but different throughout. Like it's funny the way that funny they all went. They were all relatively straightforward. Unfortunately, we had first one was non-viable. That was a bit shit.
That was what, sorry?
First one, so miscarriage on first one.
Yep.
Which is a bit shit because that happened literally the day that we announced it pretty much to the family. So that was in the morning, and then that afternoon was like, all right, and we were all like between my brother, my sister, and I, we were all going to have kids in the same calendar year. It didn't quite pan out. Well, actually, it did because we were in. My eldest arrived in late December, so still kind of got in. But after that, all fairly smooth. All the girls, we found out that they all had a VSD, which was really scary the first time. Second time was kind of like, oh. Third time was, we kind of get it.
What's a VSD?
VSDs, so small hole in the heart. Each time well placed, like they're finding it more and more these days, but that's just because the scanning equipment's getting better. So each time it was kind of in a good place in their heart, so that it either heals over time or it's effectively a non-issue, because kind of our parents would have had it and they just wouldn't have picked it up on the X-rays or something like that, whatever they had back then. So,
Crikey.
Thank gosh for imaging these days. But after pretty much we had bub number 1 just after I finished study of uni, so that was a good way to relax by 2 weeks later having a kid. When bub number 2 arrived, that was pretty much 2 weeks before we kicked off COVID lockdown. And found out about pregnancy number 3, and then was made redundant 2 days later on the 2 days later on the Tuesday. So that was probably the most stressful one, because that was, okay, cool, so we need a little bit of cash.
How did you react to that?
Oh, well...
Apart from full meltdown when the kids had gone to bed?
Like, okay, well, let's just... I took the night off pretty much. It was just like, yeah, cool, we're just going to figure this out. But, starting the next day, brushing the CV off. We're in a, we're in a decent enough position, and I got a good kind of package. They took care of me as much as they could. So, but they obviously didn't know that kind of going in. But you get that on the big jobs.
Jesus. I actually want to, if possible, readdress the stillborn issue. Is that something you're willing to talk about?
Yeah. I haven't talked about it with my wife, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
She is aware though. She was there.
Okay. Just for listeners who have maybe dealt with that or come up in the future, how did you deal with that as a male, from the male side, the dad side?
At first I was like, okay, well, I need to, support my wife through this. But it was, getting through it was something that impacted me as well. Like, I was just as excited. Granted, she was more physically invested, but, by no means was I not emotionally invested. It was definitely something I was looking forward to. So that was hard. So, but it was something that we were going through together, and we had a couple of days and just, talked it out. Whatever emotion was there, go through it. The funny part is kind of after, because it is, and this is going to sound really kind of selfish or, put the focus on me, he says when he's on the podcast, and she's not. But, it can sometimes be hard from a dad's perspective, because, it is something that's happening to mum physically, but, dad's still on the journey. By no means it's kind of just like, well, tell me when they're born and I'll change your nappy.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a little bit harder to speak about, but it's also kind of a stats game. We've had 4 pregnancies, and it's that kind of is in line with what everyone says. It can be up to 25%, and you only find out after that it's actually a much larger community than you thought.
So a topic that not a lot of people speak about. So my wife and I, we lost our first 2. It was about 7 weeks along. It's the same, and until you really talk about it and talk to people, a lot of the people that I then spoke to, it happened to us, and next baby was the one kind of thing, and and there's like I think it's rainbow baby, or so they call it something, so it is a thing. But I know what you mean. It's a because they are actually going through all of that. You're just standing there and you're like, well, how do I support? But how do I feel? And it's like, well, how do I feel? It's a strange because men are so logical. Well, hold up a second. What is this? Where do I put it? Kind of thing. And it's
you want to support, because that's kind of like you go to as a husband and ideally as a father. You want to play that supporting role, but then there's also how do you still take care of yourself?
Yeah.
Like, put your own oxygen mask on first before you kind of turn to the person next to you. But, halfway between that. But
what sort of stuff do you say to the missus in times like that?
Don't say anything. Just kind of give her a hug, ask her if she's okay, and talk it out.
Good answer.
I don't know if there
could
is
think-
anything to say about that. Just hold.
I think what you said about allowing yourself to feel whatever you feel is probably really good advice as well. Because some people might try and bury it or put it off or whatever, and distract themselves. But you gotta let yourself feel it. Yeah.
It made me bloody nervous for the next 3 pregnancies. You know, if ever she got any kind of indigestion or anything, it was like, are we okay? Just calm down. I'll tell you if there's anything wrong. Like, okay, cool.
So how far along did you say? What was it?
About 8 weeks, I think, 8 or 9 weeks. So obviously we were pretty quick to tell, but it was, close family, and, we were just, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But
When next one came, like it was, about to be announced, did you wait that little bit longer? To that traditional 12 weeks, that first
we
trimester?
waited a little bit longer, Like we told our folks.
Yep.
Because at the same, like we're really close to both sets of parents. We actually live around the corner from my parents. My wife's really understanding. But, we've got a really good support network, and we rely on that pretty heavily. As much as I say that Dad worked all the time, like since growing up, that's definitely a relationship that we've had, and I find myself really modelling off him, because he's just more than anything else, he's just a good man, because he's got a lot of those kind of values of just support the family, love your wife, that kind of stuff. So I usually wind up kind of riffing off him and talking through stuff.
Yeah. So we're talking about how hectic everything is. So how hectic is it being a father of not just one girl, but 3 of them? And what do you do to look after yourself? We spoke about that, looking after yourself, but mentally, physically.
Kind of exactly what you'd think, probably more than you'd expect. There is a lot of dancing and singing and Pink. Not that we kind of steer the girls that way, but it is exactly every kind of stereotype.
Pink the artist.
A little bit, because she can sometimes be a bit explicit in those certain conversations.
And a bit shit.
Yeah.
No comment. Like I said, dude, we go through so much Taylor Swift. Just any kind of variation that we can get, it's nice. But the girls do ballet and dancing and everything, and that's so we've just started. All the girls are now in daycare as of the past couple of weeks. So we've just gone into a new mode of just flat chat. Wife's gone back to work, all the kids in daycare, plus a drop-off for eldest in year 1. So we'll kind of hang around, or I'll hang around and do the drop-off and stuff like that. Plus dancing's now 2 days a week, and it's full-time taxi.
Dance
There you go.
dad.
Dance dad.
Dance dad. Yeah, we've done 2 recitals now. I say we. I just drove. I didn't do the hair and makeup or anything else because it needs to be done properly. But
How many times have you worn a dress?
I knew this was coming up. I think probably once on my choosing, twice on Cam's.
I do have a photo of that.
It'd be really funny. So, but that's kind of the funny thing of just like my tolerance for embarrassing in public is just like it's non-existent. It's fine. Plus, it's Queensland. I look good.
Oh, that's a good dress.
Oh, he's just showing us the photos.
Yeah, I'm the one in the wig.
I say it suits you.
Thank you.
And how many times have you done your nails on your daughter's orders?
Okay, so no, never done nails. They never come after me for that. I think that they're just like, nah, we'll do this with mum. Dad, you just go outside. You mow the lawn or something. Like, okay, fine.
Excellent.
Really?
That's so good.
So you've never done
You're like, oh no, I'll do nails.
man.
So you've never done a pedicure or anything like that with your girls? Taking them to like the chair and get it done with them?
No, never. Like I'm not
Do it.
particularly
It's another
not
Dave
particularly
go-to.
opposed to it,
Oh.
but they're just not. Well, see, my wife will do their nails for him, but
Yeah.
I think that's the longest they can kind of sit down. I don't think we could ever get it done in anywhere around town because they'd just be running around and.
Can I
paint
make
it.
one suggestion?
Yeah.
You should do it once and just do a real shit job, and they will never ask you. Even when the mum's not around, they will never ask you to do nails.
I'll just do mine and then just not say anything. Well, actually, I grew a mustache from November, and it wasn't until December that they actually kind of cottoned on it. Like they're smart girls, but maybe not the most observant.
Maybe it's more of your mow growing ability.
It's just like it's kind of like it's a massive 3 strands.
Yeah. How do you look after yourself physically?
God. I actually when I got made redundant, I knew that I'd be spending more time at home. So I, put a business case together, kept flexing that muscle and kind of submitted a request to buy a rowing machine. So I row at home in the garage, and that's pretty much it. So I started picking up a bit more around November and added that to the Movember page, and haven't really stopped since, which is good because it kind of keeps you, well, it's boring for everyone else. It's good for me because I know where I get to go, and it's just get up early in the morning, bash out like 10Ks or something like that.
Fuck. That's a lot of Ks for a rower.
Well,
just a quick 10.
It's just
no
like,
biggie.
Like, it's fine. You put the music on. You just don't look at how far you've gotten. Like, I measure it by what song's up to what, because I can't look at the,
I'd rather look at the clock than the inside of your garage, to be fair.
No, so I've got it
It's
positioned.
got some interesting posters up on the...
No comment. No, I've got
Zoo magazine.
just like a picture of Ryan Reynolds, like you can get that. It's like that and the Burt Reynolds mustache. But no, like I got it set up against the door so I can just like look at the lawn growing and going, shit, you got to get out there, you got to mow the lawn. That's absolutely... No, I'll just finish this.
What about, can you tell the listeners about, you've got Movember, you do that, you're doing your rowing for your physical health. What about Inktober for your mental health?
Good shout. Yeah, so I also do Inktober. So that's pretty much all my Instagram is. I don't put any photos of the kids up or anything else because I'm really selfish. It's just me and my sketches. But so Inktober is you get like 30 prompts, one per day of just a random word. And then you have to sketch something out or do a drawing, ideally in ink. I cheat. I cheat. I do it in pencil first, and then I kind of ink over the top of it. But it could be anything. It could be like desk, mustache, exotic. Which some of the just you really have to think about it. But
awesome. Is that good for your mental health as well? Obviously, are you artistic or is it?
No, definitely not. It's good for me because I try and do like you get the prompt, and the first thing that comes to mind is usually pretty straightforward. I always try and do something a little bit left of center of like, okay, well, so it's the one creative thing I do apart from, stuff at work. Yeah. But this one's for me.
You seem very task orientated and work orientated. Do you have any sort of escapes for yourself? Or do you just throw yourself into work and that's how you escape?
No, that's pretty much it. It's just like, okay, so when you say it like that, no, it's fairly task oriented. It's the one thing that is kind of just no thought is I play Xbox of an evening when the girls are in bed. That's pretty much just
there you go.
Do that for a little bit.
Nice. Clear the head.
Just like what do you do? I do nothing.
It's just not thinking is the best thing.
What game are you playing? I don't even know. I think I've been on pause this whole time.
Scrolling.
Oh, that's so good. And how does your parenting style differ from your wife's? Do they, or are you on the same page?
Each other? No.
This is a safe space.
Yeah.
Lean into the mic. No. I take a lot of my lead from her. 'Cause she's really good at setting boundaries. I'm useless because I'm overprotective and everything. It kind of. That's probably because they're girls and I'm just freaking out like, no, don't do that. And my eldest is, she can be a bit of a glass cannon sometimes. She's very much an expressive crier. So we know if she fell over or something like that, and that's probably stuck with us. So I take my lead from my wife, who's usually just like, no, they're absolutely fine. Just go do something else. You're good.
So she's like me, where you're just like, are you bleeding? Are you open? Do you need to go to the hospital? No, go.
It's
bye.
like, do you want to wait an emergency? No, that's not fun, is it? Yeah, it's fine. Here's some Panadol. Stitch it up. We're going to learn sewing today. You're the canvas.
And what's your approach to discipline? It's okay.
There's a couple of rules. Just don't break those rules and we're fine. It's like, honestly, it's between me and my eldest, and that's kind of funny because she's got a very similar personality to me, which is to just say stubborn.
Yes, ma'am.
It's like, yeah, but no, may I be in charge for a sec? Can you please just go to the bathroom? We're going to the park. There's not a bathroom around. We know how this went exactly last time. Just sit on the toilet and we're good. We'll get there one day.
Yeah, they're still stubborn. They're like, no, I don't need to. Then you get to the park, you're like, oh, for God's sake, Daddy, I need to go to the toilet.
Once
Which
you
is, and girls too. That's not as simple as just kind of pull it down, let it rip. You got to, like, nah, honey, you got to sit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll clean it as much as I can, but
Yep, it's everywhere. It's dripping down the legs. I said mine's the opposite. It's like, yep, go. And then it's like, oh, I've got to go again when we get out. And I'm like, are you sure? Yeah. And get there. So it's just the novelty of sitting down.
Nice.
I'm like, you just made me walk into this public toilet or this toilet at the cafe. What are you doing? You just went. It's like, you're worrying me. Like, that you have a problem with your kidneys.
Yeah, exactly.
worst part is if they don't go and then you just kind of like see them guzzling in the car.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
mate, start the timer.
Yeah, 100%. Right, Kegs. Your daughter, your middle daughter, because it's always the middle child, finds something real hard, like a Barbie, like your phone, or something that's really hard.
Yeah, my wife submitted something, didn't she? Yeah, keep going.
And then pegs it at the telly, smashing the shit out of it. So now you can't play Xbox. You can't watch whatever sport it is that you watch, like
Is there a sport?
hot dog eating, chess, footy, whatever it is. We've all got ESPN 8, the Ocho. What is your approach to discipline there? How do you sort of punish without punishing? You know, how would you approach that?
Straight to room.
Yep.
That gives some space for both parties to kind of just think it out, because, you know, if you're going in hot, you're never going to make, you know, the right call. So just distance for both parties. And do you know what you did wrong? Do you know why it's wrong? And what do you want to do about it? Like, we need to say sorry and kind of go on from there. And just, as much as possible, don't hold a grudge, which is
Very hard
all
to do.
really easy to say. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is the checklist. Then you're in the moment and just like, can you please just go to your room for a sec? But it tends to be the big stuff I'm usually clearer headed about, but it's the picking up the baby sister and stuff like that it's a bit more like, please just put her down.
Definitely.
Wow.
Well approached.
I was going to say,
I would personally throw them out the door and you can go live there like the dog you're acting like.
so teach your
Okay,
youngest.
maybe not that bad. But
Teach your youngest to bite, mate. No one will pick them up.
How do you set boundaries for the girls? Is there anything in particular that you focus on? If it's interacting with each other, like you're saying, or
Usually it's think about it from their perspective as much as you can kind of rationalize to someone that can't remember to flush the toilet sometimes. Like that can be a pretty high brain conversation, but also just, sweetie, you can see that whatever you're doing to her, she's doing to you in about an hour or something like that. So just find, how do you want her to act with you, and just do that. Because that's exactly what she does with the rest of us is, you know, kids are a fantastic mirror of how you're going as a parent or something like that. Like, oh yeah, that sounds really familiar. Oh, okay, cool.
something they've heard from their parents or from Bluey generally?
Yeah.
Now, I'm keen as well. Obviously, I've got my third on the way. Tell any advice, having 3 young ones. What's the main thing that I need to be thinking about or considering with the 3 in the household, going from 2 to 3 specifically?
2 to 3 was harder than 1 to 2.
Great.
So you're in for it. But just kind of, I don't know, lean into it. Recognise that things are going to be manic for the next little bit. In particular, but really while they're so young and you're kind of going to be doing everything around the house. So start making value-based decisions. You know, what's something that's low value that's kind of crap that I don't want to be doing right now? Like, how do you make cooking, cleaning, getting groceries, all that kind of stuff? How do you smooth that stuff out so that it's more of a routine or something? How do you delegate parts of it out? How do you automate some parts so that by the time you actually need energy and attention, you've got it? So that could be anything. That could be, you know, whether or not you've been eyeing off like a robot vacuum or something like that. But just make life easy for yourself for a little bit, because it's going to be pretty hard. Don't wear yourself out, and have a support network.
Nice one. That's great advice. I like that. Value-based decisions.
You're so measured. For a father of three, I'm like the exact opposite,
I
man.
was just about to say, like, you've already got a father of three. Like, Jesus, like, how did you get that far?
Well, the different personalities, 100%. I can tell why he's asked you as well. My advice was like, just get ready for the mess, man.
Embrace it.
Yeah, embrace the mess. You're in the hurt like a dude.
I just realised, like, don't spend too long in the toilet because that's a really good way to get hemorrhoids. So just like, make sure you do
Fuck that, my man. That's the best time of the day.
Just make sure you're
mixed
getting up and
messages
moving
here.
around and stuff.
Take your phone and your iPad just so you're spoilt for choice. I got in trouble for it the other day. I'm like, this is my time.
That's awesome. Last one from us. What's your favourite thing about being a father? Apart from wearing a dress.
Yeah, God. Okay, so this is obviously I love my girls. That kind of goes without saying. It's like, what's the favorite thing about your wife? It's just the thing I like about being a dad is having something else to focus on that isn't me. Like anything that makes sure that you're not the center of your own universe is only positive because whatever you need to be doing, you'll kind of get there naturally. You know what your priorities are, and you know for me that's my wife, that's the kids, that's the family. So I get to make decisions around that. I don't need to be thinking about all this other kind of noise to the side. So I like having focus and something to orient around that isn't me. And then it also kind of like pays dividends because then you just get hugs out of nowhere and love's kind of unconditional. So it's all good.
It's also beautiful.
Nice.
No, it's good. That is really good. Honest and open and not at all fake, which is good because, it's completely outlined how different dads are parent completely differently. Like you and me, 3 kids, and we are completely different. I love that. All your things, I'm like, I'm going to try that. Like the calm, go to your bedroom thing, and then just distance for both parties thing. I was like, yeah, that's definitely getting a run at the Bentley house. Yeah. But thanks so much for the chat, mate. That was really interesting and some really good perspectives there. But I think now it's going to be a time for the fun stuff. So fill your boots with a bit of this, guys. Shit Dad moment of the week. Shit Dad moment of the week. You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, mate, don't have any.
You're the first guest that I would say that actually doesn't surprise me. Honestly surprise me. Yeah. Well, I'll kick it off. Okay. So I just had to check my prompt there because I was like, I'm going to forget it. But no, it's so hard to forget this. Right, Mr. 5 was in the shower. So we've started, they're all old enough now to have their own shower, right? Because they're all too big to fit in the bath now. And he's into this habit of just like sitting in the bottom of the shower like it's a bath, and we're like trying to get it into him. Dude, we pay for water. This isn't a bath anymore. Like if all 3 of you do this, we're paying like $7,000 a month. But they don't know money. So I'm just like, get up now. This is not working for either of us. Anyway, I'm like, you have to wash yourself. Get up right now. Here's soap. Squirt, squirt. Rub your hands together. I'm like coaching him through showering himself. He knows how to shower himself. He's just being a dick. Anyway, he's like fully soaped himself up. I'm like, all right. Rinse yourself off now. And he's like, did the sideways dog head when they're confused? I'm like, you're not confused, do it. Come on, get under the shower. Like pushed him under this water stream, and it was going well. And then it was like soap on his face. He's like, Daddy, there's soap on my face. Put your face under the water. He's like, I don't want to do that. And I started like splashing his face with my hands. Anyway, he's flinched away towards the glass window of the shower. And I've said, get back here. I'm not going to hit you. Second time, I've obviously taken into account that he's going to flinch. And I've gone whack and like smacked water and my open palm into his face. And it's hit. The other side of his face has hit the glass on the other side. And I was like, oh no. The sound was like, and he has the loudest cry in the world. And like, even when he's milking it, it's real loud. So imagine like in a bathroom, it echoed and the whole of my suburb heard it, and
So Mr. Five copped it 3 times. The slap, the soap in the eyes, and
No, yeah, it was like falling over with a
the
beer.
glove.
I didn't manage.
And the glass.
Yeah, I saved the beer. I didn't get soap in his eyes, so that was.
Oh, so
my,
it's just 2.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was just
yeah.
the 2.
No, that's right.
The double
Yeah,
whammy.
that's fine.
That's
Yeah.
actually just the
I
way
just
to get
smacked
the
him on
soap
both
out
sides of
the
his
eyes.
face. Hey?
Just cry it out.
He
Just try and cry the soap out.
There's that logic. That's so calm.
Such a measured approach.
Just cry it out, mate. Just cry it out.
Hurry up in the shower. Whack! You cry those bloody soap out of your eyes.
So mine's more of a story, and it's not a shit dad story. It's actually more of a proud dad story,
Good.
but it's probably a shit dad story.
We celebrate the wins and bins. Remember?
Yeah. So this is all in the one.
Cool.
It's like the mixed emotions. Like I'm proud,
A
but
win.
it's not a great. It was actually this morning, and little Miss saw the up and goes on. What are they? Like, oh yeah, we'll give them a try. Make it a bit of a special thing. It's a chocolate breakfast milk. It's breakfast milk. It's not just
Like
chocolate.
2 Wheat Bix and milk and a
Whatever.
banana in one.
Yeah.
basically.
Anyway, so she's just having it this morning. I'm off getting ready, and she's pushed the straw all the way in. And then the wife goes, "What are you doing? How are you gonna drink that now?" She goes, "Yeah, it's fine." I said, "No, how are you gonna drink it now? The straw's all the way in." She goes, "Like this." Picks it up, puts it in, like a normal person would, just the pop with the straw out. She goes, "Like a beer." Oh shit! What's that saying about me? But as I said, proud,
Yeah.
but a shit dad moment.
I thought we were going to hear like a straw that just went straight down the throat, like the bottle cap that got stuck in my throat as a teenager. Yeah.
You can get to breakfast tomorrow. There's going to be like a shoe and then an up and go next to it.
I'm like a breakfast shoey. Yeah, that's good.
I might actually do that. Just a chalky breakfast shit.
Nice one. Well, this week I was getting all the baby stuff out, preparing. We've got boxes and buckets of things in storage, and of course it all gets covered in dust and everything. So cleaning it out, putting a few things in the washing machine, all of that. And you know those, they're kind of like those things you put on a bed if you don't want your baby to, you can lie in it, but they won't roll off essentially.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little oval kind of thing.
Yeah, with the little sides.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So had one of those, and the kids kept throwing around the house and playing with it and everything. I'm like, it's fine. It's not too dirty yet. Most of the toys have come out and in and out of the box quite a lot of times, and the kids taking them in their rooms, and so they're probably going to be requiring another clean up pretty soon before the baby comes. But then went downstairs to do a final tidy up of all of those things, and here I walked downstairs and that. Beautiful little newborn soft cushion thing is on the ground and the dog's just sitting on it. And I'm like, pick it up. I'm like, it's fine. Just put it to the side.
Just wipe the drool off it.
He's a somewhat clean dog.
Just hope he didn't lick it.
Like, if anyone has listened for a long time, they will know that Cam's dog eats kids' shit.
That's what I'm saying. As long as he didn't lick it, because he's shit.
It's been a while since he's eaten the kid's shit.
Oh, that's
so
good. Yeah.
with
He
this
just-
new baby, he probably will.
He's grown out of it.
It just eats his own.
Yeah. Has anyone got any? Oh, do you say you actually don't have a
No.
a dad
No,
moment?
I definitely do. No.
Good.
So, when you think you're being really smart, like, I found a hack, this will be fine. That was me last week. And again, prepping for first week, wife's back at work, kids are in school and everything. And like Mondays for us are kind of go. Well, Mondays for my wife is go. So I work in the city. She'll drop me off. She's got the day to kind of take care of 2 kids, do school drop-offs, pick up, ballet, all this kind of stuff. So she's running all around. So I've just gone, it's okay, I'll take care of dinner. I'll make tacos. That's absolutely fine. It's a quick meal. We just kind of heat it up. I'll do it on the Sunday, heat it up on the Monday. We'll be good to go. Just kind of cut up some lettuce, tomato, cheese. The kicker is I forgot to account for the fact that everyone's absolutely tired. The kids throw the food because it's tiny and, airborne. But our youngest has a cow's milk allergy. And so cheese absolutely everywhere because middleest and biggest are just starting to have a food fight. So we're trying to pack everything up. And then youngest is starting to crawl around underneath the table while I'm stacking the dishwasher, and it just starts picking up the cheese like, no. Starts to have a reaction. It wasn't too bad. All things, people with allergies, like, Jesus, wasn't that bad. Just a little bit of tell fast and kind of just watch. But just everyone's energy level's so low, and that was my hack, which was pretty much just, how do we get dairy everywhere for the kid?
It was only a small reaction. It's fine. Like she had a small breathing issue. I just shoved an up and go straw down her throat.
Like, you know, when you have to give your kid a trachea, you got to be like, yeah, like we'll win there. Jesus.
Oh, that wraps up Shit Dad moment, I guess. Does anyone have any final thoughts?
Just one from me. Don't forget, we'll keep sharing the link to the Starlight Super Swim Challenge.
How many Ks have you done?
I've done 2Ks, which for me is 2 more than I've done the last
In 20
15
years.
years.
Yeah. And I've smashed out. I got really motivated for some reason and smashed out 5Ks last week.
Wow.
So I'm feeling it this week, and I don't think I'm going to do that many this week.
But you've been swimming with a previous guest of ours. too.
Yeah, so ex-Paralympian Rick Pendleton came and jumped in the pool with me and lapped me like 1,000,000 times. It was good. Yeah.
I saw that. I went up, took the family for a swim.
That's
and
right.
I saw you over there. I'm like, hey, jump in the lane. I'm like, I haven't fucking seen him swim. Not a chance, mate. I'm like a rock in the pool, which is strange because I'm like literally okay at swimming in the surf and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
nah, get in a pool, I'm like,
You
to
know
the
that
bottom.
song Fatty and Skinny? Fatty and
Yeah.
Skinny went to bed. Yeah, it was like me and him, me and Rick. He was tiny next to me. Like we went, whenever we passed each other in the pool when he was about to lap me again, it was just like watching like a dolphin swim next to a whale. It was awesome.
He just jumped in your wake though. Just caught that extra.
Yeah, that's why I'm so fast. Yeah, that's for sure. Definitely.
Well, look, guys, I've done 1/10 of what you've done.
Yep, cool.
Yep. It's about 500 metres.
That's good.
But as I said, I've been on. Look, I'm going to make the excuse. I've been on camp, and literally, it was not worth my time going down to an unpatrolled beach to try to do some swimming.
Well, we've hit a third of our goal of 20 Ks. So if anyone wants to see us hit 30 Ks, get involved and swing us some money because it's all for supporting families of sick kids when they need it the most. That's what Starlight does. So final thoughts from me is basically do something I've done for the first time in freaking ages and got off the cans. So I'm off the alcohol just this month, while I'm swimming, just to cut a few kilos and feel a bit better, and 100% feel a lot better. And it's only been 6 days, so hopefully last the whole month. And yeah,
Shortest month of the year. So.
exactly. That's why I picked it. And those Heaves normal beers are pretty good. The Cam's rocking tonight.
Yeah.
They're pretty decent.
If you're going for a no alc option, yeah, heaps normal.
100%.
Yeah.
And finally, thank you, Keegan Kegs, for coming on. That's my nickname for Keegan because I just like giving people nicknames. But Kegs, cheers for coming on, mate. We really appreciate your open, honest chat, and
thanks for having us
it's been
on.
fantastic.
No,
That's
cheers.
awesome. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Whether you came for some dad advice, a laugh, or some dad hacks, we thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen.
Please get involved on our socials at ShitDadPod on Instagram and TikTok, or ShitDad Podcast on Facebook, and of course the Shareline 07 30 40 95 45.
And support the guys who keep us rolling. Black Property Group and Anytime Fitness Griffin. Add value to your house with your dad bod out.
And don't forget, whether you're here for your kids daily or not, be present wherever you can, because we're all in the same boat when it comes to fatherhood for the kids.